Manalangin po tayo. Dakilang Panginoon Diyos, may-ari ng sanlibutan, pinupuri namin ang iyong pangalan. Kami nagpapasalamat sa panalangin at gabay na ibinigay mo sa amin. Salamat sa panibagong araw na ipinagkaloob mo. Salamat din sa pagkakataon na ibinigay mo upang kami ay muling magtipon para sa panibagong kaalaman. Kami po ay humihiling na nawa po ay gabayan mo po kami sa aming pag-aaral at bigyan mo po kami ng makalangit na kaalaman at lakas upang kami ay matuto. At nawa po ang lahat ng aming matutunan ay magamit namin sa pagtulong sa aming kapwa. Patawarin mo po kami sa aming mga kasalanan at nawa po ang lahat ng aming gagawin ay maging alinsunod sa iyong kautusan. Ang lahat ng ito ay aming sinasamo sa ngalan ng aming Panginoong Hesus. Amen. Good morning po sa lahat ng mga kadete nationwide from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, sa lahat po ng mga estudyante, first year up to fourth year, sa mga instructors, guest lecturers, professors in the criminology program, pati na yung mga respectable deans po natin in the respective College of Criminal Justice Education, sa lahat po ng mga very intelligent na local and national level na mga review lecturers po natin in various review centers nationwide. Sa lahat po ng nakikinig po in this video right now, welcome po sa Bicuino. Ito po ang platform na nagbibigay ng libre at the same time very comprehensive and align na din po sa table of specification. Libre po ang lahat ng video discussion po natin, wala pong bayad. Ang purpose po nito is makatulong po tayo sa mga kadete natin na nag-graduate pero medyo kapos po sa pera. Kapos sa pera at hindi po makapag-enroll sa mga magagarang mga review centers nationwide. So pag wala pong pera, all you have to do is to review with me kasi libre po, comprehensive pa, at the same time, align po sa table of specification. Napakarami pong request na talakayin po ang forensic photography. So ito na po. This morning po, again, ang subject natin is forensic photography. This is one of the courses, one of the subjects under the major area, forensic science. Okay? Under po ito sa forensic science. Pero mga kadete, mga ma'am at mga sir na nakikinig right now, allow me to have 1 minute lang po to promote yung mga materials po natin. Una, itong tinatawag nating Bicuino review material. Libre, hindi po ito libre ha. I'm sorry, hindi po ito libre. Minimal po ang price po natin. A cheaper amount po. Hardbound available, soft copy available din po. Ang contents po sa soft copy is the same contents with the hardbound. Pag mag-order po kayo, ilibre ko na po ang shipping pag hardbound po yan. Now, ang contents po nito, lahat po ng mga review materials sa lahat po ng mga subjects, sa lahat ng major areas, andyan na po. Kompleto yan, naka-arrange yan into different major area. Starting from criminology major area, up to criminal law and jurisprudence major area. Naka-arrange na po yan. Plus, on the second portion po, andyan din po yung question and answer portion po na pwede kayong mag-practice. Mga board exam questions po na na-compile po natin in a previous CLE. Sa mga estudyante pa ngayon, I tell you, sa mga estudyante pa lang I tell you, as much as possible po makapag-avail po kayo ng Bicuino. Kasi po ang Bicuino review material po natin, magagamit ninyo yan while you are still in the college years or mas importante po, magagamit din nyo po yan para ma-prepare ang sarili nyo and after graduation, the more na magagamit nyo po sa pag-prepare sa sarili nyo in the criminologist licensure examination. So kindly grab a copy po sa mga estudyante po natin pati na yung mga nag-graduate na po who will be taking the board examination. Ang pangalan ko po nasa video description po. Sa description po, andyan po ang pangalan ko. Facebook account ko po 'yan. Kindly give me a chat po and then tingnan po natin kung ano po ang i-avail nyo, whether soft copy or hardbound. Secondly, sa mga instructors, professors, mga review lecturers, pagka-post po tayo, sir, ma'am, pagka-post po tayo sa time, tapos hindi tayo nakapaghanda sa PowerPoint presentation po natin, available din po ang PowerPoint presentation po natin, tsaka yung PDF file sa isang subject na gusto nyo pong i-avail. For example, sa forensic photography po, pag mag-avail po kayo ng PDF copy, very minimal price lang po. Pag mag-avail din po kayo ng PowerPoint presentation, available din po yan. Okay? Give me a chat lang po para ma-send ko po. Alright? So, again, without further ado mga kadete, forensic photography po ang subject po natin this morning. Okay? Now, ano ba ang forensic photography? Para maintindihan, tingnan natin ang etymology sa terms. When you say etymology, origin. Ano ba ang origin sa dalawang terms? O na word na forensic. Di ba sa forensic science na subject, may tinatawag din tayong forensic ballistics. Ang word na forensic was also defined in that subject. So, forensic, ibig sabihin dyan, forum. Okay, Latin word forum. Ano ba ang forum? Forum, ibig sabihin, tiyanggi. Marketplace. Ang marketplace where people assemble or gather for public discussion. So, tiyanggi, mag-assemble yung mga tao sa tiyanggi para mag-discuss on something. So, yan po ang ibig sabihin ng forum. Ang word na forensic, pwede pong gamitin interchangeably with the word legal. Okay? Pwede pong gamitin interchangeably legal at saka yung forensic. On the other hand, ang photography naman, nanggaling din po siya sa mga Greek word. Okay? Mga Greek words. Because ona is phos. Ibig sabihin ng phos, liwanag. Okay? Liwanag or light. Pangalawa, itong grapho. Grapho, ibig sabihin writing or graphiya, ibig sabihin to draw. To make the explanation short, ibig sabihin ng photography, to write with light. Magsulat ka using the liwanag. Magsulat ka sa pamamagitan ng liwanag. Ano bang ibig sabihin dyan? It's very simple. Pag wala ang liwanag, pag wala ang light, you cannot produce a photograph. Okay? Hindi ka makapag-produce ng photograph pag walang liwanag. During dark time, for example, evening yan, pag walang flash yung camera mo, you cannot get a good photograph. All you can get is basically darkness. Okay? Kaya po, magsulat ka sa pamamagitan ng liwanag. Why? Because light is one of the most essential elements po para makapag-produce ka ng photograph. Pag walang light, wala pong photograph na mangyayari dyan. Next, police photography versus forensic photography. So ano ba pinagkakaiba? Kanina pag photography, ibig sabihin to write with light. Forensic, ibig sabihin from the word forum, ibig sabihin marketplace where people gather for public discussion. So ano naman ang pinagkaiba? Forensic photography at saka yung police photography. Napaka-easy lang. Pag forensic photography mga kadete, pag forensic photography, ginagamit mo po yan in order to, number one, to document the crime scene. Okay? Document the crime scene. Ibig sabihin ng document the crime scene, you have to get pictures sa pieces of evidence para ma-document. Anong purpose ng documentation sa crime scene? Para, for laboratory examination. Ang pangalawa, analysis for purposes of court trial. Now, if you can see the words court trial, for example, ang tanong sa board examination, utilization of photographic principles. For court trial, ang sagot po dyan is forensic photography. Pag magtanong naman ang board examination, documenting a crime scene, documenting the evidence, for laboratory examination, and for the purpose of court trial. Again, ang purpose po dyan, ang answer po dyan is basically forensic photography. Now, ano ba ang pinagkaiba dyan sa forensic photography at police photography? Sa police photography po, art or science which deals with the study of the principles of photography, the reproduction of photographic evidence, and its application to police work. So basically, pag police photography, ini-estudyohan mo po ang prinsipyo, prinsipyo kung paano po gagawin ang fotografiya. Paano po makapag-reproduce ka or makapag-produce ng photographic evidence. Tapos, ang mga prinsipyo na inistudyuhan mo, gagamitin mo yan in application sa police work. Police photography. For example, you wanted to find out kung ano ang importance ng shutter in getting a good photograph. Or you study about the lens opening. Okay? You study about the light and you apply the principles thereof in police work, basically police photography po. So, ang end product po sa police photography is merely on the application in the police work. Pero ang end product po ng forensic photography is usually for laboratory examination in preparation po sa court trial. Okay, pag na-involve na ang laboratory examination saka yung court trial, ang answer po natin dyan is forensic photography. Okay? So, yun po ang pinagkakaiba. Pero ang tanong sa board examination is to write with light. Ang answer basically is only photography. Okay? Next, photograph versus picture. Ito, marami po ang nalilito. Kung ano bang pinagkaiba sa dalawa. Some would say these two words can be used interchangeably. Iba po ang photograph, iba po ang picture. Pag photograph, yun po ang produkto sa mechanical and chemical result of photography. For short, pag film yan, film camera, siya po ang resulta sa tinatawag nating development, sa printing process. Okay, sa printing process. Sa development kasi, ang resulta is negative. Ang negative will be printed po, ang resulta is photograph. For short, sa mechanical and sa chemical result, at sa mechanical at saka sa chemical po na proseso, ang resulta po is tinatawag nating photograph. Okay? Pero, pag picture, ang etymology po is pictura, ibig sabihin painting or pictus, which means painted one. Generic term po siya that would refer to all kinds of formed image. Klaro ha? It is a generic term that would refer to all kinds of formed image. For short, pag painting, ang painting po is a picture. Pag nagdo-drawing ka, drawing is still a picture. Pero ang drawing is not a photograph. Ang painting is not a photograph because the process of painting, the process of drawing does not involve photographic principles. It does not involve photography or the process of photography. For short, ang tawag dyan is picture. Pero, remember also na ang photograph can also be considered as a picture. Bakit? Kasi nga po, ang picture is a generic term that involves all formed image. All formed image. All kinds of formed image. Question, is a photograph a formed image? The answer is yes. So, a photograph is a picture. Kuha niyo po? A photograph is a picture, drawing is a picture, painting is a picture, because these are formed images. Pero, ang photograph, pero ang picture cannot be used or cannot become a photograph. Okay? A photograph is a picture, but a picture is not a photograph. Kuha niyo po? Bakit po ang picture cannot become a photograph? Because not all pictures undergo the process of photography. Okay? Pag nagdo-drawing ka, does it undergo photographic process? The answer is no. So basically, pictures not at all times become a photograph. But at all times, photograph can be a picture. I hope naintindihan ha, mga kadete. Alright? So, yun po ang pagkakaiba. Now, sa board examination, may tinatawag tayo, especially in CDI. Tools of investigation. Ang tools of investigation, that would refer to the I's, di ba? Tatlong I. Yung information, yung interrogation or interview, and the other one is instrumentation. 3 I's. Ang sa board examination din po, may tinatawag tayong cornerstone of identification. Ang cornerstone of identification yung tinatawag nating fingerprint. Now, sa forensic science naman, may tinatawag tayong versatile tool of investigation. O yung fingerprint, forensic science din po yan. Ang fingerprint is known as cornerstone of identification. Pero pag versatile tool of investigation, ang answer po dyan is photography or police photography. Okay? Versatile tool of investigation. Question. Sir, ano bang ibig sabihin ng versatile? Okay? Di po yan versatile ha. Correct pronunciation po dyan is versatile. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng versatile? Ibig sabihin dyan, flexible or dynamic. For short, sa lahat po ng subjects sa forensic science, ang police photography lang po or photography in general, which is the only science or the only subject that can be utilized in some other sciences. Kaya tinatawag siyang versatile kasi flexible. Flexible in the sense na pwede siyang magamit sa question document. Sa question document, ang tanong, does it involve photography? Answer is yes. Diba? Gagamit ka ngayon ng tinatawag nating infrared. Diba? Basically, ang QD also involves photography. Pag pupunta ka ngayon sa fingerprint identification, does it involve photography? Of course, yes. It also involves photography. Pag andun ka sa polygraphy, it also used photography. Biology, zoology, most of the sciences involves the process of photography. So that is why ang police photography po ginagamit siyang versatile because it's very flexible. Magagamit po kahit saang science po yan. Okay? Now, mga kadete, it is not important, I have to be honest with you ha, kasi po sa TOS, hindi po nakalagay doon yung mga tao that will come out in the board examination. But we will take a look on the historical perspective, the founders or the people behind the development of photography para at least naman po mag-grasp po natin ang perspective sa subject. Okay? Ang pinakauna po nito, itong si Niepce, si Joseph Nicephore Niepce. Siya po ang pinakaunang photographer. Okay? Siya ang nag-imbento sa tinatawag nating heliography. Okay? Ano ba ibig sabihin ng heliography? Writing of the sun. Ang photography is to write with light. Ito, heliography, writing of the sun. Ang kanya pong invention is on a paper sensitized with silver chloride solution. So, ibig sabihin, nakaproduce siya ng image using a paper. A paper that is sensitized with silver chloride solution. Yun po ang contribution ni Joseph Nicephore Niepce. Tapos, nag-invento siya sa word na heliography. Now, here comes Daguerre. Okay? Si Daguerre po ang nag-imbento ng tinatawag nating daguerreotype. Kung ang kay Niepce is on producing an image on a paper sensitized with silver chloride solution, ang kay Daguerre naman, nakapag-produce siya ng photograph on a silver-covered copper plate. Okay, yun po ang sa kanya. Ang kay Niepce is on a paper, sa kanya is on a copper plate. Okay, ang kay Daguerre. Tapos, tinawag niya po yung daguerreotype. Ang proseso po sa pag-produce ng isang photograph using a silver-covered copper plate. Okay? So, it formed an image directly on a silver surface of a metal plate. It was a positive process, thus it yielded one of a kind images. Now, another one is itong talbotype, okay? Or calotype. Tinatawag ito noon as talbotype in recognition of the family name of the inventor, si William Henry Fox Talbot. The other term of Talbotype is Calotype. Now, ano bang pinagkaiba sa daguerreotype at saka yung sa Talbotype? Sa daguerreo, di ba, paper, no, it's a silver, it's a metal plate ang ginagamit po sa pag-produce ng image. Pero sa Calotype po, isa din pong photographic process, nakapag-produce po siya ng image using a paper negative. Okay? Paper negative po ang ginagamit niya. So, ang papel po was impregnated, surfaces, fibers impregnated with light-sensitive compounds. Okay? Yung kay NIPS, paper din po, pero sensitized with silver chloride resolution. Ang kay Talbot, on the other hand, papel din po with surface, fibers impregnated with light-sensitive compounds. Yung kay daguerreotype is metal plate. Okay? Now, ang tao po na nag-imbento sa word na photography, walang iba kundi si John Frederick William Herschel. Okay? Siya po ang nag-imbento sa word na photography. Then, apply the terms negative and positive. Ang sa kanya, ini-improve niya lang po ang mga photographic processes. Particularly, nag-imbento po siya na tinatawag nating cyanotype process and variations, the precursors ngayon ng modern blueprint process. Okay? So, ginagamit po yung principle ni Herschel po sa moderno po na blueprint process po natin. So, si John Frederick William Herschel, huwag kalimutan, ang nag-coin or nag-imbento sa word na photography. Next, ang nag-imbento ng lightweight gelatin negative plates in 1871, wala iba kundi si Richard Leach Maddox. Tapos, ang nag-imbento sa photographic process na collodion. Ang collodion po is a dressing material of nitrated cotton dissolved in ether, an alcohol, and other chemicals on a sheet of glass. Walang iba kundi si Frederick Scott Archer. So, ang nag-imbento po sa proseso na collodion po is Frederick Scott Archer using a wound dressing material in producing a photograph. Tapos, ang nag-imbento po sa roll film, and the one who brought photography to the mainstream. Actually po, sa mga previous generation ko po, before Gen Z, before Gen Z, kami po, lumaki po kami in a film camera, using a film camera. Tapos, si George Eastman has a big contribution po sa film. Actually, siya po ang nag-invento sa roll film. So, ang Eastman Kodak Company, nung araw, pag magpa-picture ka, ang tawag po sa Bisaya, magpakodak me. Magpakodak kami. Ibig sabihin ng magpakodak kami, magpa-picture po. Ang Kodak basically is a company that produces roll film. Okay? So, yun po ang mga tao that contributed, nag-contribute po sa police photography. Now, ang tanong ngayon, ano ba ang kagamitan ng photography? Ano ba ang uses? Una, personal identification. Okay? Now, noong araw po, si Alphonse Bertellon, isang police officer, nag-imbento po siya sa tinatawag na sistema ng identification, yung tinatawag na Bertillonage. Okay? Pangalan noong unang araw is Bertillonage. Tapos, nag-iba yung word na Bertillonage into anthropometry. Ano ba yung anthropometry? It's basically identifying or a system of identification using bodily measurements. So, when you say bodily measurements, lahat po ng parte ng katawan mo will be measured. Ang sabi po sa principle ng anthropometry or Bertillonage, the measurements of each person is unique. Totoo naman po. For example, we may have similar size on the size of our head, pero we might have differences in terms of the measurement between the distance of our eyes to our ears, or probably the distance between the mouth and the nose. So, ibig sabihin, yung measurements po natin are basically unique. Tapos, nung araw po, to supplement po sa identification system na anthropometry or Bertillonage, kinukuha din po ang photography. Okay? Or ang photograph ng isang tao in supplement po sa identification. So, yan po. For personal identification po, ang unang use ng photography. Sa Facebook, basically, you can tell somebody that this is so and so because that is his picture. Okay? Next, another use is communication. Ang photograph po, tinatawag siyang one of the most universal methods of communication considering that no other language can be known universally than photograph. Anong ibig sabihin ng universal method of communication? So, ibig sabihin ng universal method of communication, pag bibigyan mo po ang isang tao ng isang photograph, you can tell whether the person is sad in the picture, whether the person is happy in that picture, whether the person is in vacation, whether the person is inside his home, whether the person is could probably problematic or not. So, by taking a look at the picture, it could convey a lot of message to somebody. Right? So, if you see a photograph with a person crying, so that will tell you, that photograph will communicate with you that the person taken in that photograph is basically sad or lonely. So, kaya nga tinatawag siyang universal method of communication. Alright? Next, record purposes. May tinatawag tayong rogues gallery, mga kadete, sa PNP. Ano ba yung rogues gallery? It's basically a database po, collection po yan ng mga photograph of persons arrested as criminals. Tawag po, rogues gallery. Record purposes, yan po ang photograph po is considered as ang photograph po, ang utmost use niya po is record purposes. Yun po. Photography is considered as a versatile tool of investigation. Okay, na-discuss na po yan a while ago. Alright, next. Another use of photograph is on court exhibits. Alright? Sa court exhibits, by the way mga kadete, part of the table of specification is about photographic court exhibits. I will explain it on the later part. But in terms of court exhibits, ibig sabihin ng exhibit, yung mga ebidensya po that you have to present, you have to display in court. So, lahat po ng court exhibits should satisfy the basic requirements of admissibility, which are relevancy and competency. Ibig sabihin ng relevancy, dapat po ang photograph po natin should be in relation to the issue or to the crime being investigated. Dapat related yan. Competency, ibig sabihin, ang photograph po natin should be free from any distortion, obliteration, or any defects. Yan po ang tinatawag. Meaning of good quality po. Later on, again, sa last topics po, I think on episode 3, we will be talking about court exhibits. But for now, yan po ang ibig sabihin ng court exhibits as one of the uses of photography. Next, ang photography din po, ginagamit din po yan in order to prevent crime. Why? Ang video camera, CCTV. Okay? A CCTV is an example of a video camera. Yung tao po, knowing that there is a CCTV camera and that person has the impulse to commit crime, even if there is an impulse, the person will resist in committing the crime simply because andyan po ang video camera. Not only for deterrent effect mga kadete, ang CCTV footage din po, ang CCTV which is also one of the video cameras, it could be considered as one of the most important tool ngayon in order to detect somebody who committed the crime. Di ba ang unang hahanapin ng police officer pag may krimen na nangyari sa isang lugar, di ba may CCTV ba? May CCTV footage ba? So basically, yan po ang use ng photography. The other one is on police training. Now, ang police training natin ngayon na modernized, gumagamit din po yan ng modernized photography. Number one, for documentation of the activities in the law enforcement agencies, gumagamit yan ng photography. Number 2, sa training mismo. Pagkagawa ka ngayon ng PowerPoint presentation, ano ang gagamitin mo to project the PPT or the PowerPoint presentation? It's basically a projector. A projector is a product of photography. Number 7, reproduction and copying. Okay? Kasi makapag-produce ka na isang picture or isang photograph, it could be reproduced in hundreds of copies. If you want to produce millions of copies out of the one photograph, pwede din po. So, anybody could examine the pieces of evidence by taking a look on the reproduced photograph. Number 8, discovering and proving. Photography can extend human vision in discovering and proving things such as the use of magnification. Okay? So basically, may mga ebidensya po na hindi natin makikita sa mga mata po natin. Human eye, hindi po natin makikita. But by the use of photography, makikita po natin kung ano po ang ebidensya. Kung ano pong ebidensya na yan. For example, sometimes yung Latin prints po cannot be very visible with our naked eye. But by the use of photography, the Latin print that is quite invisible could be made visible. Okay? Kasi po, through magnification. We can examine the Latin prints. Kahit maliit yan, diminutive yan, minute. We can examine it by magnifying the evidence. Now, talking about magnification po, mga kadete, may mga 4 po tayong modes or pamamaraan in magnification. Okay? Una, itong photomicrography. Pangalawa is microphotography. Pangatlo is photomacro. And the other one is telephotography. Unahin po natin ang photomicro tsaka yung microphotography. Now, pag lumabas ito sa board examination, napakasimple lang ha. Pag photomicrography, ibig sabihin dyan, you took or you take a photograph by the use of a microscope. Okay, kuha nyo po. Meaning, you get a picture or you shoot a picture using a microscope. Gumamit ka ng microscope in order to show the minute details of the physical evidence. Yung mga maliliit na detalye ng isang ebidensya. Ano ang ginamit? Microscope. Ano ang purpose ng microscope? Para makapagkuha ka ng picture, makapagkuha ka ng photograph sa mga maliliit na detalye ng isang physical evidence. Okay? Meaning, photographing using a microscope. Ang tawag, photomicrography. Pero, ang microphotography, iba po yan sa photomicro. Okay? Kasi po, nalilito ang mga estudyante nito eh. Actually, to be realistic about it, ang microphotography is actually opposite of photomicrography. Kasi po, ang microphotography, gumagamit yan ng small film or microfilm to produce tiny images that can only be seen when magnified. For short, it is a production by optical reduction. Production by optical reduction of very small photograph from much larger subjects. It is just the opposite of photomicrography. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Optical reduction. Yung mga malalaking objects are reduced. Okay? Are reduced into small photographs and examine it. Ang tawag po is microphotography. Okay? For example, pag ano yan? Pag sa mga documents. Alright? Sa mga documents na mga malalaking documents and then containing bigger words. So, kinukuhaan mo ngayon ng picture or photograph. That's basically part of what we call as micro photography. Pero ang photo micro, yung gumamit ka ng microscope para matingnan yung maliliit na detalye ng isang ebidensya. On the other hand, we have photomacrography, which is similar to photomicro. Pero ang pinagkaiba dito kasi, ang photomicro, gumamit ng microscope. Ito, gumamit ka lang ng camera in order to enlarge, okay? In order to enlarge a very small object para makita mo yung detalye. So, taking of a magnified or enlarged photograph on small objects without the use of microscope by attaching a macro lens. So pag gumamit ka ng microscope, anong tawag? Photomicrography. Pag hindi ka gumamit ng microscope, camera lang, plain camera, in order to enlarge or magnify a particular image, for example, ang makikita mo sa slide, yung picture po is a cartridge case. Okay? Para makita mo yung firing pin marks at saka yung bridge face marking para maklaro yung maliliit na detalye sa mga markings na yan, gumamit ka ng photomacrography. It's just a camera. Okay? So, hindi ka gumamit ng microscope. Sunod, yung pang-last itong telephotography. Ibig sabihin ng telephotography, from the word tele, ibig sabihin long distance. So, you want to take a picture, a photograph of far object with the aid of telephoto lens. Ang tawag po, telephotography. Alright? Yun po, mga kadete ha, magnification in photography. I hope you understand po. I'm trying my best that all students should understand the discussion. Alright. Tingnan natin ang mga gamit, ang mga parts sa photography. Una po dito, itong tinatawag nating camera. Okay? Ang camera is known as light tight box. Ano ibig sabihin ng light tight? Light tight, ibig sabihin, umaayaw po siya, ayaw niyang magpapasok ng isang liwanag. It's basically a phrase that would tell that it does not allow light to pass through. Kaya light tight. Light tight because it does not allow light to pass through. Number 2, box. Okay, box is basically a box. It's a square. It's a box containing parts inside. Okay, light tight box. With a lens to form an image, with a shutter and diaphragm to control the entry of the image, a means of holding a film to record the image, and a viewer or viewfinder to show the photographer what the image is. Later on, we will be talking about lens, we'll be talking about shutter, we'll be talking about diaphragm, kung ano po ba yung viewfinder. Okay? So, for now, camera, light tight box siya. Sa loob po ng light tight box, andyan yung shutter, andyan yung lens, andyan yung film, andyan yung diaphragm, andyan yung viewfinder. Okay? Sa labas, andyan yung viewfinder. Makikita mo kung ano ang forma po ng imahe na kukunin mo po as a photograph. Okay? Now, ang camera po, nanggaling po siya sa tinatawag nating camera obscura. Okay? Ang camera obscura po is a device po na ginagamit nung araw sa number 1, pag-drawing, or pangalawa, for entertainment. Okay? Yung makikita nyo sa slide, yan po ang camera obscura. So, pag magdo-drawing ka or magbe-painting, pwede po, for example, tower. Tapos, yung tower po is captured by the camera obscura pero inverted na po yan pagdating sa loob, tapos magdo-drawing ka. It is one of the inventions leading to photography. So, ang principle po ng camera obscura, ginagamit po sa paggawa po ng camera or sa pag-apply ng photographic principles. Okay? So, ito, para maintindihan. Parts of a camera. Una, again, light tight box. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng light tight box? Yun po ang sabi ko kanina. Box siya, and it does not allow any light to pass through. Ano ibig sabihin ng it does not allow light to pass through? Ibig sabihin, ni isang single ray of light inside the box, wala po. Zero po. Unless, nag-o-open yung shutter or nag-o-open yung lens. Okay? Pero pag walang hindi open ang shutter, hindi open ang walang lens opening, automatically, wala talagang ray. Any rays of light that could pass through. Light tight box. Yun po ang ibig sabihin dyan. Pangalawa, itong tinatawag nating lens. Okay? Ano ba itong lens? Ang lens naman, tinatawag siyang parte ng camera which is responsible in focusing the rays of light coming from the subject. So, ibig sabihin, ang subject po nito, ito yung tao or object that is the subject of photography. Siya po ang kukunan ng imahe. It is one of the most important parts of the camera because without lens, it is impossible to form a sharp image of the film. Kasi po, pag wala ang lens, wala din po tayong sharp image of the film. So ano ang purpose ng lens? Just like a magnifying glass. Okay, everyone I think was able to witness how a magnifying glass will work. Di ba nung araw, nung elementary tayo, pinagpadala tayo ng magnifying glass. Tapos wala tayong magawa sa buhay. Kukuha tayo ng magnifying glass, tapos lalabas tayo sa room natin. Tapos we get a piece of dry leaf. Tapos on top of it, we put the magnifying glass. Tapos susunugin natin. Yung iba, yung susunugin nila is yung tsinelas or yung dry leaf, di ba? Yun po ang katuwaan namin noong araw. So basically, same po ang principle sa magnifying glass at saka sa lens because yung magnifying glass contains basically a lens. So it will bend the rays of light inwards para mag-focus po siya sa isang location. Okay? So yan po ang function ng lens. The other part of the camera is the film holder. Okay? So ang film holder is the part that humahawak po, is a part that holds the film basically inside the camera. It is always located at the opposite side of the lens of the camera. The number 4 part is the shutter. The last one is the shutter. Ano ba itong shutter? From the word shut. Shut off. Okay? Ibig sabihin ng shutter, siya po ang barrier ng rays of the light. Ibig sabihin, doon po papasok sa kanya yung light. At the same time, siya po ang mag-allow to pass it or will disallow the light to pass through. Okay? It is usually placed at the path of the light passing through the lens. Now, para mas maintindihan po mga kadete, kindly refer to the slide. Andyan po yung picture po natin that depicts the different parts of the camera. Intindihin po natin ang konsepto kung paano po ba gagana yung isang camera. So makikita nyo po yung parts. Andyan po yung lens, may aperture, may shutter, may image, may CCD. Okay? Later on, I will explain to you what a CCD is. So for example, you want to capture a particular person playing football. Okay? So yung rays of light coming from the person playing, that will be bent inward using the lens. Okay? So dadaan siya ngayon sa lens, tapos yung rays of light will be bent inward. Now, yung rays of light that are bent inward po will pass through the so-called aperture. Ibig sabihin ng aperture, yan po ang tinatawag nating lens opening. Okay? Lens opening po or opening of the lens mga kadete na mag-take ng board examination. Pag aperture, lens opening po yan or opening of the lens. Tapos, pagdaan niya po sa aperture, dadaan niya ngayon, ang second obstacle is yung shutter. So pag naka-close yung shutter, ibig sabihin, yung light cannot pass through and affect the film. It could not affect the film because basically it is blocked by the shutter. So it depends upon when the shutter opens and when the shutter closes. Okay? Depende po yan sa shutter. Pag naka-open yan, papasok ngayon itong light. Pero kahit nakapas na yung light sa lens or sa aperture, pero hindi naka-open yung shutter, walang mangyayari. There will be no photography. There will be no photograph that will be reproduced or will be produced kasi nga po naka-close yung shutter. And the light could not affect the film. Kailangang mag-open yung shutter para yung light could pass through and could imprint the rays of light sa film. Now, so yung imahe po natin pagdating doon sa film is inverted po yan The image is inverted. Now, the question is, sir, asan ba yung film? Now, sa mga previous generations po, tulad po namin mga previous po kasi kami, we do not belong to Gen Z. So, Noong araw po, ang ginagamit is basically film to capture the image. So yung light will will strike the film and then the film will record the image. Pero ngayon, ang gamit po natin is DSLR na po, or DSLR stands for Digital Single Lens Reflex Camera. Digital Single Lens Reflex, DSLR. So basically, ang DSLR po or Digicam, yung tinatawag natin in our very short term, di ba? Digital camera. Wala po yung film. Wala pong film. Yung mga cellphone po natin, wala pong film. Meron po tayong tinatawag sa digital camera na CCD. Ang CCD po is a replacement of the film. CCD stands for Charge Coupled Device. Ibig sabihin ng Charge Coupled Device, ito po yung tinatawag nating light-sensitive integrated circuit po na nagka-capture ng image by converting photons into electrons. So for short, instead of using the film, may tinatawag tayong CCD sa digital camera that stands for Charge Coupled Device na napaka-light sensitive din po yan, light sensitive na nag-capture ngayon ng images. Converting again photons into electrons. For short, siya po ang nag-standing as a film in a digital camera. Okay? So yon po ang basic principle po kung paano po gagana yung camera po natin. Okay? So, yan. Next is, I hope naintindihan nyo mga kadete ha. Next is, puntahan po natin itong mga different major types of camera. Okay? Yung major types of camera, ito, nagsisilabasa ito sa mga previous board examination, especially yung sa old curriculum. Una, itong tinatawag nating viewfinder type na napaka-basic po. Pinaka-small, pinaka-simple. This is also known as instamatic camera. Viewfinder camera suffers what we call as parallax error. Later on, we'll be talking about parallax error. But when you say viewfinder type, ibig sabihin, pinaka-simple, pinaka-maliit po, also known as instamatic camera. Pero, ang defect na po is yung tinatawag nating parallax error. Tingnan po natin kung ano yung parallax later on. Next, single lens reflex type. Okay? Single lens reflex type naman is another type of camera. The best way to determine the entire coverage of the camera is to look behind the lens of the camera. In this manner, the object can be framed properly and recorded on the film. This type of camera eliminates the so-called parallax error. Kasi sa viewfinder type, when you say viewfinder, doon ka po makisilip. Alright? I think that's the correct word. Doon ka po sisilip para makita mo po ang focus ng isang object that you want to photograph. You want to peep on the viewfinder para malaman mo pag okay ba yung angle mo sa pagkuha ng isang image. So yun po ang viewfinder. Pero ang problema kasi nito, ang viewfinder type of camera usually suffer the parallax error. Kung minsan yung forma ng isang image being seen in the viewfinder is not the same angle when you have the photograph as the finished product. For example, whole body yan, pinipicture mo. Nakita mo sa viewfinder, whole body yung nakukuha. Pero pagdating sa photograph, nagiging half na lang, naputol. So, bakit po ba nangyari yan? Tawag dyan, parallax error eh. But later on, tingnan natin kung ano ba talaga ang parallax error. So, sa single lens reflex type, all you have to do is to look behind directly on the lens para makita mo talaga that the image that you are captured will be the same image, the same angle po, the same focus that you can get in the finished photograph. So, naimbento itong tinatawag nating SLR or single lens reflex type. Now, because of digitalization po, sa ngayon, wala na po tayong SLR, di ba? Single lens reflex type, gumagamit po kasi ito ng film. Ngayon, ang meron tayo is digital single lens reflex or yung tinatawag natin DSLR or for short, Digicam. Di ba mga kadete? Alright? So, ang pangatlo, itong tinatawag nating twin lens reflex camera. Tinatawag siyang twin lens. Bakit po? Dalawa kasi ang lens nito. One is for focusing and the other one is for viewing. So just like the viewfinder type, nagsasuffer siya ngayon ng parallax error. Okay, so ngayon, ano ba yung parallax error? Ito po. The image you see through the viewfinder is different from the image the lens will capture. For short, di ba? Makikita nyo sa slide, Pagtingin mo sa viewfinder, pag silip mo, ang nakuha, based on the picture, half body from the head up to the abdomen part or waistline of the person. Yun ang makikita mo doon sa viewfinder nung sumisilip ka sa camera. Pero pagdating ngayon sa lens, iba pala yung nakuha. Ang na-capture din is nabihidid na yung tao, nakuha yung ulo niya. So pagdating sa finished photograph, sa viewfinder, half body sana, pagdating sa finished photograph, hindi na naging half body. Kundi nabihidid na yung tao, walang ulo. Ang nakuha is from the neck up to the ankle part of the person. So iba po ang finished photograph, iba din po ang makikita sa viewfinder. Ang tawag dyan is parallax error. Ito ang error na makikita natin sa twin lens reflex camera at saka yung sa viewfinder. Okay? Ang pang-apat po is yung tinatawag natin view or press type camera. Ito po yung pinakamalaki, Pinakamalaki at the same time the most sophisticated type of camera among the other types of camera. Pinaka-sophisticated at the same time pinakamalaki din po ito. Now, aside from that, may mga cameras din po tayo that offer unique advantage or serve special purposes. Like say for example, yung Polaroid. Kung gusto mo po makapag-print immediately ng photograph on the image that you capture, you can use Polaroid. Diba? I think everyone is familiar with this type of camera. All you have to do is to press the button. Pag press mo ng button, lalabas yung photographic paper po containing the image that you capture. Okay? Polaroid po yan, which was invented by Edwin Land. Pangalawa, itong Digicam natin ngayon or Digital Single Lens Reflex Camera that follows the principle of single lens reflex. The only difference is that yung single lens reflex camera po natin noon, gumagamit po siya ng film. Ngayon, sensor lang po, digital imaging sensor, yung CCD, yung sabi ko kanina, na light sensitive din po. So wala itong film. So unlimited po yung shots as long as may battery lang. Pag hindi ka low-bat. Yung film, limited. Pero ito, unlimited. Yung sa film, pag nagbili ka ng 30 shots, so basically, after 30 shots, wala na. Or 10 shots, yung pinakamalit, 10 shots nga eh. So after 10 shots, wala na. Pero itong digital camera, as long as okay yung battery, hindi pa siya naging low, but you can capture a lot of images. The other one is itong camera na hindi gumagamit ng lens. Ang tawag nito is pinhole camera. The only camera that does not uses or utilizes lens. Number 4, itong fisheye lens. Ang fisheye lens po, mga kadete, ginagamit po ito as a part of capturing a wide area po, especially pag sa mga store yan, mga mall, gumagamit po yan ng fisheye lens. A special type of camera having 180 degrees angle of view. So basically, pag may shoplifter, automatically madidetect po using the fisheye lens kasi nga po, napaka-wide po ng coverage niya. Imagine 180 degrees angle of view po. The number 5, yung last po, is folding camera. A type of camera in which the lens and the shutter mounted into body by means of an accordion bellows, which can be folded into camera for ease of carrying. An example of this is on the image. Yung last image po na makikita nyo po sa slide. Yan po ang tinatawag nating folding camera. Okay? Now, marami po tayong, tatlo po basically. Tatlo to be specific. Tatlo po yung control of cameras po natin. Okay? Yung pinaka-importante na control. Una, itong tinatawag nating focusing control. Pangalawa, yung diaphragm control at saka yung shutter speed control. Isa-isahin po natin mga kadete ha. Pag focusing po, pag focusing control, ibig sabihin, kinokontrol mo ngayon kung ano po ba ang object anong angle ang dapat makapture sa camera. Okay? Adjusting the lens to form the clearest possible image is called focusing. So for short, ibig sabihin ng focusing, yung pag-adjust mo ngayon sa lens mo in order to capture a very clear image. Yung image na hindi po blurry. Tawag dyan is focusing. So focusing is also defined as the setting of the proper distance in order to form a sharp image. Okay? Yung distansya mo po from the camera towards the object that you have to photograph. Part din po yan ng focusing. So, una po, definition natin ng focusing, yung pag-adjust po ng lens para makuha mo po ang pinakaklaro po na image that you want to capture. Pangalawa po, ang focusing din po is pag-adjust din po yan ng distansya mo po from the camera towards the object to be photographed. Para again, yung image na maka-capture should not be blurry. Okay? Yung klaro po na imahe. So, tawag dyan, focusing control. Pangalawang importanteng control ng camera, itong tinatawag nating diaphragm control. Okay? Ibig sabihin ng diaphragm control, siya po ang magko-control sa opening ng lens. Di ba? Sabi ko kanina, yung lens opening is yung aperture. Okay? Yung aperture. So basically, ang purpose ng diaphragm control is i-control niya ngayon yung aperture. Ano ba yung aperture? Yung opening po ng lens. So makikita nyo po sa slide, yung aperture, yung diaphragm. So, sa pag-digital camera yan, makikita nyo po yan sa hood ng camera, may mga numbers po dyan. May 1.4, may 2, 2.84, 5.6, 22. Ang rule of thumb po nito, napakasimple po. Ang rule of thumb, ganito po. The higher the number, the lesser would be the light. Or the higher the number, the smaller would be the opening. Pag small po yung opening, ibig sabihin, smaller po yung amount of light that will pass through. So again, ang unang rule of thumb po natin, the higher the number, the smaller would be the opening. Okay? The higher the number, the lesser would be the light that will pass through. I repeat, the higher the number, the smaller would be the opening. The higher the number, the lesser would be the light that will pass through. So makikita nyo, with 1.4 at 22, mas maliit po, pinakamaliit yung 22 na lens opening compared to 1.4. Okay? So yun po. Ano ang purpose ng diaphragm control? Is yung i-control niya po ang opening ng lens. Pangatlo, itong shutter speed control. Ang shutter speed control naman allows light to pass for a determined period of time for the purpose of exposing photographic film or light-sensitive electronic sensor to light to capture a permanent image of a scene. Now, kanina, I mentioned to you about a shutter. Ang shutter is one of the parts po yan ng camera. Ano ang purpose ng shutter? To shut off the light. It will allow light to pass through. It will allow light to pass through and will affect the film. Pag digital camera yan, it will affect the CCD or yung image sensor niya. Now, pag nakapas na po yung light sa aperture or sa lens opening, pero hindi pa nag-open ang shutter. Di ba kanina, ang sabi ko, sa parts of the camera, una yung lens, then the lens opening, and then the shutter. Pag hindi nag-open ang shutter na yan, automatically, there will be no image or photograph that will be formed. Kailangang mag-open and mag-close yung shutter. Pag too much ang exposure, when I say exposure po, the process of striking the light, the process of striking the film with the light. Pag too much yung striking of the light to the film, ang mangyayari po is overexposure. Sa Bisaya po, nung film pa po kami, tapos nakapag-picture kami, tawag namin dyan na sunog. Ibig sabihin na nasunog, hindi maklaro hindi clear yung image kasi po too much light. Bakit nagkaroon ng too much light? Kasi bakit nagkaroon ng burning on the photograph? Kasi nga, there is too much light that strikes the film. Dapat enough lang po yung liwanag or light that will strike the film. So, kailanganing calibrated yung opening at saka yung closing ng shutter. Kasi ang magkocontrol sa amount ng light to affect the film is basically the shutter. Kaya po ang shutter is divided into a fraction of a second. So, pag between 1/500 over 1/1000, ibig sabihin ng 1 second divided into 500. So, between 1/500 to 1/1000, you can actually say na mas paspas, mas speedy po yung opening and closing ng 1/1000 over 1/500. Pag i-compara nyo po, 1/500, 1/1000, pag i-divide nyo yan, meaning mas faster po yung opening and closing of 1/1000 na shutter speed compared to 1/500. Okay? So, on the other hand, pag 1 second yung shutter speed niya compared to 1/1000, ibig sabihin, yung 1 is much slower po in terms of opening and closing of the shutter compared to the 1/1000. Imagine niyo 1 second divide into 1,000. That's how fast the opening and closing is. Pero pag 1 second po nakaset yung shutter, ibig sabihin 1 second opening at saka closing. Alright? 1 second opening and closing po. Now, pag slow shutter speed po, ito po ang ruling natin. Pag slow shutter speed po yan, ginagamit po yan pag kulang po yung light. Ibig sabihin, yung available light po natin is kulang. For example, indoor photography, tapos napaka-dim ng light, kulang po ng liwanag. Kailanganin po ng enough light to strike the film. Kasi pag nasa indoor photography ka, tapos kulang po yung light, tapos gumamit ka ngayon ng 1/1000 na shutter speed, ang mangyayari, kukunti lang po na light that will strike the film. Pagdating po sa finished photograph, napaka-dim po ng image na nakukuha mo. Dapat enough. So pag outdoor po yan, sunny day, bright sunlight, hindi gagamit ka ngayon ng faster shutter speed. Kasi nga po, there is sufficient light. Pangalawa, pag ang image po is moving ha, hindi siya static. For example, boxing yan, or for example, the act of punching somebody, you want to capture it in a photograph, ang gagamitin po is faster po na shutter speed. Pero pag ang image po na i-capture po natin is still images po, hindi, ibig sabihin, hindi po nagmo-move, ang gagamitin po natin is slower shutter speed. Kailangan gagamitin ang slower shutter speed? Pag ang image po na i-capture mo is not moving. Pangalawa, pag kulang po yung light. For example, indoor photography. Kailan gagamitin yung faster shutter speed? Pag ang pag ang light po is too much, sufficient po, or number 2, you will capture a moving object. Okay? So, now, lastly mga kadete, balik po tayo sa focusing control ha. Balik tayo sa focusing control. May tatlo po tayong types dyan. Una, rangefinder. Pangalawa, ground glass. Pangatlo is scale bed or focusing scale. Ganito po ang pag-differentiate sa tatlo po. Pag rangefinder type po, ang object that you are going to photograph will split into two. Pag titingnan nyo po yan, nakasplit siya. Isang object lang, nag-split siya into two. Nag-overlap or nag-split into two. So all you have to do is to move the focusing control para yung image na na-split into two will be united into one form. Okay? One form and undivided appearance. So, ang tawag po dyan, range finder type of focusing control. So, yung image po na-split into two or nag-overlap into two, and then ina-adjust mo ngayon ang focusing control para magiging isa yung image. Range finder type. Sa ground glass type naman, pag out of focus ka, ang ground glass type na focusing control will make the object appear blurry. Okay? Pag out of focus ka, napaka-blurry po. So all you have to do again is to adjust the focusing control para yung blurry na object, magiging clear po ang pagkakuha. Sa rangefinder type, pag hindi ka out of focus ka, nag-split into two. Pero itong ground glass type, nag-blurry yung image. So you have to adjust the focusing control para maging klaro na. Ang sa scale bed or focusing scale naman, iba din po yan. Kasi ang scale bed, distansya po. Nag-calculate siya ng exact distance that you have to establish from the camera to the object that you are going to photograph para mas klaro po ang pagkakuha. So, ang tawag nito is scale bed or focusing scale. For example, if you want to capture an evidence, the scale bed or focusing scale will tell you that the camera should only be 1 foot distance from the evidence to be captured. It's basically scale bed po. So, magbigay siya ng distansya po kung ano po ba ang distance between the camera and the object to be photographed. Okay? So, yun po ang types of focusing control. So, balik tayo sa diaphragm control. Ano ang purpose ng diaphragm control? Makontrol niya ngayon ang opening ng lens or yung aperture. Ang sabi ko kanina, mini-measure ngayon ang size ng aperture whether the opening is wide or small. Sabi ko kanina, ang rule of thumb natin, the smaller or the higher would be the number, the smaller would be the lens opening. Pag higher po yung number, smaller po yung opening, at the same time, lesser po yung light that will pass through. For example, in comparison between f1.4 and f22, 22 po, malaki yung number pero maliit yung opening. Kasi maliit yung opening, lesser light po yan. 1.4, malaki po yung opening pero malaki yung opening pero yung number niya is 1.4 only. And then, basically, yung light, mas marami po ang dadaan. Pero remember po, in some other books po, yung pinakamaliit na opening is F22. Yung pinakamalaking opening is F2. Okay? Now, to understand more, ito po kadete as applied to photography po. Sa una po na picture, gumamit ka ngayon ng large aperture. O ito ito na picture o yung una po, yung nasa taas. So, ikumpara mo po large aperture, medium, tsaka yung small aperture. So, pag large aperture, malaki yung opening niya. Let us say this is f2.8. Example lang po example lang. So, basically, kasi malaki yung opening, marami yung light. Marami yung light. For example, sunny day. Bright sunlight po yan. Marami ang light na nakapasok po kasi po, malaki yung opening ng lens. So basically, ito po ang image niya, itsura niya. Pag medium aperture naman, yan po ang itsura, mas klaro. Pag small aperture, medyo dim po kasi kukunti lang po yung light that will pass through. The next image naman, yung sunflower natin, F4 and F22, kinukumpara po. Pag F4, ang image na i-capture mo is the sunflower, yung background niya is blurry. But if F22, yung background niya is very clear. Okay? In the same manner, yung pinaka-last po, comparing F2.8, F4, F5.6, so on and so forth, mas klaro po yung sa F16, yung mas maliit po ang opening ng aperture. So yan po ang application ng lens opening sa photography. Okay? So yun po ang last mga kadete. I have to stop in this slide. Yung sa shutter speed control naman, i-discuss natin on the second episode, pati na yung ibang controls of the camera. We'll be discussing it on the next episodes po. Thank you so much for joining with me in this review. Maraming salamat po sa nag-advocate ng Bitcoin and for sharing po sa mga video discussions po natin. God bless everyone and mabuhay po ang Criminology program.